Okay, good to have you back. This morning, we turn to a global trade story with very real African consequences. Last week, the United States House of Representatives approved the renewal of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, Agoa. For many African exporters, this signals relief and stability and continued access to the U.S. market. But beneath the celebration is a harder question. And what happens when Africa's trade future depends on decisions made thousands of miles away? AGOA has boosted exports, created jobs, and opened doors for African industries from automobiles in South Africa to textiles in Kenya, Ethiopia, and Lesotho. Yet, recent tariff shocks, policy uncertainty, and sudden suspensions have exposed a deeper vulnerability, which is dependency. This morning, we are not debating ideology. We just want to break down what this renewal really means, what regulators like the Nigerian Customs Service and other stakeholders are saying, and why Africa need to rethink its long-term trade strategy urgently. So beyond all of these headlines you're seeing today, this isn't just a trade policy. It's a question about development. Yes, and AGOA have great access, like we know, to so many things. It has created jobs, it has supported so many jobs, but it has also left African economies exposed to political shifts in Washington, and that's why regulators, economists, and industry voices are increasingly pointing toward intra-African trade, especially under the African Continental Free Trade Area, as a more stable long-term solution. Because when I hear AGOA, sounds like a household name now for me, because it has done a whole lot of things when it comes to we know it has done a whole lot of things. So when I hear that AGOA is renewing their commitment again, first of all, it's celebration for me. I'm happy, but then the next instinct that follows is, because I get that access matters, I get that the markets matters, I get that jobs are very, very important here, but I'm just thinking of the long-term solution. AGOA has always been a permission slip and not a partnership kind of. And we are looking, like I said, I'm not against partnership and support, but when more like what should be coming as partnership is now coming as more like a charity case, more like a support for Africa, and then we just have to depend. That is where I have a problem, and I have a problem here with Africa. It is valuable, yes, it is conditional, and it is temporary, and it is externally controlled. So we have to have that at the back of our mind as Africans. And that means African businesses don't plan in decades. We don't plan for long term. We only plan in extensions. And that is that doesn't sound really good. And that's not how, serious economies can grow. If we want to grow Africa, we must begin to think of planning long term, not just extensively. We must begin to think of planning long term. And because you can't build long-term industrial confidence on a policy that will last, in a period of time that comes based on approval. Every few years you are getting this approval, and not even from the Nigerian parliament, from a foreign parliament. So I think it brings a whole lot of question. So while like I said before, AGOA opens doors for a lot of investment, for a lot of business opportunities to Africa. It has also trained a lot of people, to a lot of entrepreneurs and whatnot, intentionally or maybe intentionally, I don't know, but to just sit down, for Africans to just sit down and wait for the door to be open to us at every point in time. So I think it limits us.
We are relaxed.
We are relaxed and waiting for let's knock again, they will come and open the door. It's only limits us, and that's a problem. So talking about, first of all, on policy risks and all of those sudden shocks, what struck me the most about this whole episode wasn't even about the tariffs. I know we've been battling with, especially with the US. It's not just about the tariff. It's how fast things, fell apart when certainty disappeared. Because the moment they see that your country is no longer a thriving ground, they won't want to come and breed there. Exactly, they will shift. So it becomes a problem. All of those orders are paused. Factories will be slowed. Even the job we are saying it is creating, they will suddenly, enter under review. And this happens not because African producers have failed. It's just because our system does not enable us to thrive. It's just because politics have shifted somewhere else. They've lacked that political will when it comes to upskilling, upgrading Africa in different developmental, aspect. And that tells me one thing, that our export sectors to us they are efficient. I would agree that they are efficient, but I can say with my full chest that it's very fragile at this point in time. Most of them are very fragile, and they are well run. But the thing is that they are overexposed. And when a single policy delay, like the one coming from Washington now with the Agoa and all of these things, can ripple through factories in Nairobi, in South Africa, or Maseru, all of these places in Africa, that's not resilience. That's not Africa showing its resilience. It's just more like vulnerability, disguised as global integration.
Exactly.
So I think Africans should step up and top up their game, and our economy is kind of shaking, and that is not because we do not have the skilled manpower here, not because we do not have the right grant or the potential, if I should put it that way, or the competence. It's just because we have not really learned how to control our economy and manage our economy as it should.
Why shouldn't we learn how to manage our economy? Why should we always operate under constant uncertainty of things? Why should we always wait to be backed up by some other forces before we look forward to pushing forward? I think at this point it shouldn't be in that way, because when you talk about job creation, what if, like I said, if there's a shifting, it means that job will be suspended for the meantime, and we'll be looking forward to them coming back to, reopen, and we're always, at this point of having hope and having hope. What is happening to our economy? So you are saying that our economy is actually shaking. I would say, should I say, standing on one feet?
Yeah.
It's not balanced yet. But what I'm saying is, why is it not balanced yet? What are the things that we're supposed to do that we are not doing that we should do? That is where my concerns come in. What are the things? We have capable hands in this country. We have Nigerians, we have intelligent people. We have people that can handle projects, that can handle things well when it is well monitored. So what happened to us putting all these things on ground, like not depending on others, but, building for ourselves and making ourselves that giant of Africa that we always want to represent? I just feel like this point should stop all this falling back on foreign. We should stand on our own, and we can do it if we really, really want to do it. That's what I feel.
I mean, just take the news we saw earlier in that they are cutting aid.
Yes.
Being given to, the Northeast, and the Northeast right now is going to run into famine if time is not, taken. And this is 2026, and we are still talking about all of these things. And talking about employment, when we talk about that unemployment being a stake here, I think this is where the story stops being like an abstract idea or abstract talk. What we are talking about is, because first of all, the question that is even coming to my mind is that why should millions of African jobs be permanently tied to decisions made from, foreign political cycles?
Not even in Nigeria.
Why should it even be exposed to foreign political cycles? We are talking about real people here. We're talking about real jobs here. We're talking about factory workers, people that are making the shoes for us, people in the Aba markets. We are talking about logistics handlers. We are talking about people whose livelihoods depends on decisions they have zero influence over. And that is not so good. And that imbalance should bother us. It's not so good at all, because let's be honest, Mary, when all of these policy makers in the US, they are coming together and debating about Agoa, They are not debating about African employment.
Exactly.
They are debating about American interests.
Yes, of course.
Like the US president will always say with his full chest, America first. And that has been his mandate since he came into power.
Oh.
And we've been seeing it with all the tariffs, he means America well. And sometimes with the whole tariff, with the way he's shaking the rest of the world, I do not blame him, because he wants America to continue to become world power. He wants America to be like the title implies, America first, like the phrase implies, America first.
Why can't we just say that for ourselves?
You get? Why can't we stand and say Africa
first and start by it?
Each country in Africa say my country first.
Exactly.
And we stand by and we begin to put in the work, because it's not just first
by mouth,
by mere saying. It's not just first. It's first by action.
Yes.
First by putting it into practical work.
Practice.
And that is what the US is doing. So when they come out to do things like this, it's because, okay, we've seen what we need to gain somewhere. We are seeing what we need to gain in Africa this time. Okay, so it's mainly about them debating about American interests.
Of course.
Exactly. It's from a gain point. So Africa just happens to be affected. That's what we should know. And so, yes, I'm not going back on my word that Agoa is not good. It's good when we see it as a partnership. We understand that Agoa creates jobs, we understand, but there are outsourced jobs tied to outsourced decisions. We cannot be getting decisions from outside. We cannot be waiting for, external bodies to decide what jobs should be going on in Nigeria. In Africa. We know what we need in Africa. We should tie job creation to meet the demand of this country.
That is simply country.
I mean, of this continent, rather. And I think that's we are standing on a very risky foundation for social stability.
A shaky one.
Yes, a very shaky one, especially in economies where manufacturing jobs are already scarce. Like in Nigeria, I don't know how much manufacturing jobs are doing. Before, they were like the lifeline of livelihoods. But these days, I don't know where it stands. And that's why I asked that question, that, should millions of African jobs, all of these African jobs, should they permanently be exposed to foreign political cycles? And some of these questions is what our governments, in the African continent should be asking themselves. And talking about what stakeholders are, quietly admitting, what I have noticed lately is that, and this is very important, is that trade regulators and industry leaders are no longer defending Agoa blindly.
Okay.
Yes, there's a shift in the tone. There's less celebration, there's more caution.
Okay.
Yes, we've seen most of them coming out, because you're seeing all of these tariffs and whatnot on, you are importing goods or you are exporting goods. You know what is being tagged to it. You begin to question a whole lot of things. You begin to question if these countries truly mean you well, or they stand to gain alone. So even in as much as you want to sell, you want your products or whatnot, you want to sell your country out there, but with those huge tariffs coming from these countries that are saying they want to develop your country, so we begin to ask us. So I've seen that shift in the tone from many manufacturers. Are beginning to ask a lot of questions, because custom authorities and all those trade officials, manufacturers, they're beginning to ask questions. They still value Agoa.
Yeah.
It's not like they do not value Agoa again, but they are also saying, almost all of them are asking, this can't be the whole plan.
Of course.
You understand? It cannot be the whole plan, because I think that it's only good that they're asking questions. Very, very important that they ask questions. It only shows that it shows that there is maturity now in their thinking. It's not a rebellion. It's just that we have to understand where Africa is at this point in time. When it comes to the Agoa, what do you mean for Africa? What do we stand to gain? We know that we have seen a lot of jobs come out of this for a very long time, but is Africa's industrial system, is Africa's industry, is Africa's manufacturing companies and whatnot, are they still thriving? What should we do at this point in time. And I think they are seeing the same pattern we are seeing too, because access without control, benefits people without that much certainty. So I just feel like when people inside the system start calling for diversification, then it is important. It usually means that the system has shown its cracks. So we need to fix it. We need to patch it up. So I like that African manufacturers, customs and whatnot are also asking these questions. They are asking these questions. What do we stand to gain? You cannot come and put a very huge tariff on me and then you are bringing Agoa again and saying, no, we have to ask these questions, and these questions are very, very important that we ask them. Yes.
I think they are actually asking the right question right now, because if you think they can do it, we can also do it. But it's about putting ourselves together to know how we can patch those loopholes, how we can walk things through, how we can have something that is for long term and not for just a period of time. So they're actually asking the right question. Like I said, if they can do it, we can also do it. And I'm happy that they are asking the right question at the right time. It's not about the news and the excitement that comes with it, yes, for the job creation and all sorts of that, but it's about asking the right question. How are we going to benefit? Because all I am seeing here is them being in control, whether you accept it or not.
Whether you like it or not.
They are in control. So you are going to work at their own pace. You're not doing your own, like when they know that they are done, they are tired, they will just withdraw at any time. That is not healthy for our economy. So yeah, they are asking the right question.
And I think this is where we have to begin to think of the African continental free trade area,
yes.
Because it's more like what the Agoa is bringing. That is what the African free trade is, doing for Africa, to create that, to integrate African trades amongst all African countries. And I'm talking about the AFCTA, because I think this is where the real argument is.
Okay.
The African market is not small again.
At all.
We are talking of the AFCTA as the long game with a $3.4 trillion market and 1.3 billion people. Intra-African trade offers scale, it offers predictability, and it offers African-led growth. So the African market is not small. It's massive. But more importantly, I like the fact that that sense of ownership that AFCTA brings, because you just rightly said, talking of Agoa, this control is not in our hands.
Of course.
But with the AFCTA, we have control. It is ours.
Yeah.
It is ours. And that is very, very important. Our rules may be slow, especially when it comes to border. But I like what the AFCTA have been doing since last year about smuggling, about the the free trade area and whatnot. Talking about, I know it is slow. It is slow. It is still slow. When we talk about all of those border issues, it may be frustrating. When we talk about smuggling, we are still battling with smuggling. It may be frustrating. When we even talk about infrastructure, that one is even uneven. But at least the decisions are Africans' decisions. That is the point. And as time goes on, we will grow. And I think inter-African trade won't magically fix everything. We just have to understand that anyone selling it as a silver bullet is overselling it. Everything grows over time. We just have to, it's a gradual process. I think it's a gradual process. And I feel like just like I said earlier on, what AFCTA offers is predictability.
Yes.
It offers that agency. It offers that sense of ownership that the Agoa will never, offer to us, because it is not ours, whether we like it or not. This is not me ruling out the Agoa completely. It can come in as partnership.
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
You understand? It can come in as a partner with the African trade system, or with the Africa development system. But you can. It's just more like you can you can argue. I don't know. I just say you can renegotiate with your neighbor. You can argue with your neighbor. You can renegotiate with your neighbor. That's what the AFCTA means to me. You can fight. It's just as if I can fight my brother today, and we talk tomorrow. We're in good terms tomorrow. In short, we'll go together and fight another person. Exactly. That is what the AFCT represents to me. You know, we can improve systems with ourselves because we want to see ourselves grow. That is what the AFCTA means to me. So, and we cannot do that with a distant Congress. We cannot do that when policies, when decisions are coming from foreign bodies. I'm not saying the AFCTA is not easy, but it's not that hard. We just have to keep moving. We just have to keep moving. It's harder when we don't build. It's harder when we continue to depend on foreign policies to make decisions for us. When we don't try at all, that is when it's hard. So instead of us just taking at the be happy about the Agoa, be celebrating that Agoa is back, oh, jobs will now come for people in 2026, this and that. Let's think about it very deeply. Let's think about how we can allow them in as partners, so we can set the rules for ourselves as well.
Exactly.
Africa must begin to set the rules for themselves. Exactly,
because as partners, you gain, I gain. As partners, you control, I control. This would be a 50-50 something, because we are now
situation partners. At the end of the day.
But when you are in charge, you are in charge. It means that I have no room for complaint. I have no room for, control, and that's everything given to you. It's not making sense. Like we always used to say, we want Africans to be dependent on themselves. So this is going to be a nice one when it is partnership. Exactly. Partnership is very important.
And I would still like to state again, this is not me saying that the Agoa,
this is not us
saying that the Agoa renewal is it's more like a victory. I don't see it as a victory or a failure. Let me put it that way. I don't want to say I see it as a victory and a failure. I don't see it as a victory or as a failure. I just see it as a reminder that access is not the same as power.
Yes.
So we should understand that distinction there. We should have power as Africans. We should have power to control our own trade systems. And also, we should understand that all of these trade preferences are not the same as trade sovereignty.
Exactly.
We may like what they are bringing. It may look interesting. It may look enticing. It is what we need, or it is what we want. But is this what we need? We need to have that sovereign power. We need to be and that's another point. And that's we're talking about Africa's long-term future here.
Exactly.
It can't be permanently outsourced. We can't continue to outsource all of our ideas, now we are not even outsourcing skilled manpower. No, it's not so good. So Agoa still matters. It does matter, but it shouldn't define us. We should learn how to take, decisions for ourselves. But I think that's the much we can take for today. We've said a lot, and I think we're going to bring somebody from the African Liberty, one of the African Liberty fellows, and the liberalists and free trade, those that are pushing for free trade and a liberalized Africa. We're going to bring one of them here next week, so we can talk about this proper and get it from an expert point of view. But that's where we leave you this morning. With that, we want you to think, should Africa continue relying on trade preferences like Agoa, or is it time to fully bet on intra-African trade? Join the conversations across our social media platforms at Idea Television and follow us, drop your thoughts, and keep the discussion going. Yes, and Idea Persons of Interest, is it the third edition or the fourth edition? Third edition, I guess, is coming out soon. So keep your ears out there, keep your eyes wide open so that you can be the first to download. Yes. Okay, my name is Cynthia Bassi, and I have been with
Mary Ojumajo.
Okay, and this is how we say thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.